oh, what if I am partially at fault for causing an accident?
That's a good question.
Yeah, this actually happens more often than people may think. And thankfully, we're in the state of South Carolina where it's somewhat okay. So in South Carolina, we have a modified comparative fault state where it's not straight comparative fault, it's modified up to 50%, meaning you can be up to 50% at fault for the wreck and still actually be entitled to the other amount of damages. So if you're 25% at fault, you can get 75% of your damages.
Reduces your recovery
by the amount of your fault.
By the amount of your fault up to 50%.
Which makes sense. If you're more than half at fault for the wreck, you probably shouldn't be able to recover due to your own negligence. But if the other person contributed to a greater degree, there should be some award for some compensation for what you suffered.
But we're thankful we have it here in South Carolina.
Yeah, thankfully we have it here because other states, just across the line, North Carolina, they have 1%.
I believe there's 9.
And it's really, there's almost always an argument for 1%.
Oh, yeah.
Someone cuts in front of you, someone cuts across, you're driving down a divided 4-lane highway, somebody cuts across, you slam into the side of their car. A 1% argument would be, well,
you were speeding.
Or not even that you're speeding, that you could have braked in time and you just didn't.
Sure.
It's easy to make that argument, especially in retrospect.
And another thing I see a fair amount anyway, is that insurance adjusters try to abuse this to assign partial fault to the plaintiff in cases. In fact, I have a case that we're still in the process of settling. I can't get too much into it, obviously, but we have a case where someone pulled out in front from a driveway of a business and failed to yield right-of-way to our client. Well, the officer on the scene faulted both parties, presumably because our client said that she had her turn signal on. And she did have her turn signal on because she thought she was going to turn into somewhere and then chose not to. But the at-fault driver still pulled out of the road into the roadway and caused our client to collide with their vehicle. And we're having to fight with the insurance company about that. South Carolina law is pretty clear on it. When you enter the roadway from a business or driveway or anything like that, you have to yield the way to all vehicles. And that's been expanded in court cases all the way to include cases. Especially
that specific case. You have a duty to make sure that person actually is turning and has cleared your line of entering the roadway prior to entering.
The South Carolina Supreme Court has expanded that to include vehicles you can't even see that are fully obstructed to your vision. But you're the last true cause of the accident because you had the last chance to not cause it.
Yeah.
And so it does raise its head a lot. And, it can adjust what a insurance company offers. It can adjust what a jury awards you. The problem is it's often wrong, whether that be on the report or from an insurance company. And we have to kind of do the investigation to figure it out. We've talked about the fact that green light, red light cases happen all the time. And unfortunately, sometimes that is a he said, she said, whatever you want to call it, until you get some third party witness, whether that be a video or a witness to the actual accident. And then we see it a lot with turning lanes. All too often when you have a four-lane road with a turning lane in the middle, who has the right of way to enter that turning lane? Yeah. And those kind of get really murky.
We have people abusing the turning lane and driving down the turning lane.
Yep.
Try to cut to an intersection, and not sit in traffic.
You really have to take a deep dive into those cases and do all of the investigating that you can so that you can figure out, what do we have here? What can we show? Is this truly 50-50 liability or 75-25 or whatever, because that's part of what we have to do.